The World Cup, the biggest sporting event on planet Earth. 4 billion people watch it, 48 nations fight for it, and in 2026, for the first time in 32 years, it came home to America. But not everyone was welcome. Some fans flew thousands of miles, bought their tickets, packed their bags, and never made it through the door. This is not just a football story. This is a story about power, about money, about two of the most powerful men in the world, and a deal the rest of the world never agreed to. When FIFA gave the 2026 World Cup to the United States, Canada, and Mexico, they made a promise, a simple promise. Football unites the world. That was their slogan, their message, their pitch to the whole planet. 48 teams, 16 cities, 3 countries, one celebration for all of humanity. But behind those bright lights and that shiny trophy, something else was happening. Because the man running FIFA, Gianni Infantino, had a plan. And that plan involved getting very, very close to the most powerful man in America, Donald Trump. Now here's where the story gets complicated. In 2017, years before a single ball was kicked, Trump signed his very first travel ban. He blocked people from several Muslim-majority countries from entering the United States. At the time, FIFA's own president stood up and said this publicly. Any team, including the supporters of that team, who qualify for a World Cup, need to have access to the country. Otherwise, there is no World Cup. That was Infantino. Those were his own words. A warning, a line in the sand. But then, something changed. By the time Trump returned to the White House in January 2025, Infantino wasn't just attending meetings with him. He was everywhere with him. The inauguration, the Oval Office, Mar-a-Lago, a peace summit in Egypt. Infantino had even moved to Miami, right inside Trump's orbit. He watched as Trump literally walked onto the field and joined the celebrations during the 2025 Club World Cup. Instead of pushing back, Infantino smiled. And then, in December 2025, at the World Cup draw in Washington, D.C., something happened that stunned the football world. FIFA created a brand new award. They called it the FIFA Peace Prize. And the very first person to receive it, Donald Trump. Think about that for a second. FIFA, the organization that governs the world's most global sport, created a peace prize specifically for the American president, an award that had never existed before. Critics called it exactly what it looked like, a gift, a gesture, a way of keeping Trump happy. One professor, Jules Boykoff, who literally wrote a book about this called Red Card, put it this way: Infantino treats the United States like FIFA's private money machine, while Trump gets to look important in front of the biggest sporting event on earth. Because here's the truth FIFA doesn't want to say out loud. They need America's money. This World Cup is expected to generate $11 billion in revenue. $11 billion. And the United States is the key to all of it. So when Trump put up travel bans that blocked fans from multiple countries that had actually qualified for his World Cup, what did FIFA do? They stayed quiet. Let's talk about what actually happened to real people. Trump's travel bans, signed and expanded across 2025 and early 2026, placed full restrictions on fans from countries like Haiti, Iran, Somalia, and Congo. Partial restrictions hit fans from Ivory Coast, Senegal, Cuba, and others. In total, fans from over 30 countries faced some form of barrier trying to get into the United States. Now here's the painful detail. The ban had exceptions for players, for coaches, for team staff, but not for the fans. So you could have your national team playing on the biggest stage in football history, right there on American soil, and you, as a fan, could not go. You could buy a ticket, you could book a flight, and you would still be turned away. That is exactly what happened. Dozens of Moroccan fans were denied travel visas, despite holding valid World Cup tickets in their hands. A Somali referee, selected by FIFA, trained to the highest level, ready to make history as one of Africa's top officials, was denied entry into the United States and sent home. His World Cup dream was over before it even started. An Iraqi team player was detained and questioned for hours at a U.S. airport. An Iraqi team photographer was reportedly denied entry after his phone was searched. A coalition of more than 120 civil rights organizations, including the American Civil Liberties Union, issued a public warning to visitors. They told fans, journalists, and players that traveling to the United States could carry serious risks, that they might face arbitrary detention, deportation, invasive searches of their phones, racial profiling. Think about that warning. That was issued for the World Cup host country. the United States of America. One Senegalese fan named Djibril Gueye said it simply, "I don't know why the American president would want teams from certain countries not to take part. If that's the case, they shouldn't agree to host the World Cup." He's right. And that's the question at the center of all of this. So, what did FIFA say? Not much. Infantino, the man who once said there would be no World Cup without access for all, had changed his position completely. Now he called Trump the king of soccer. Now he said it was absolutely crucial for FIFA to have a close relationship with the U.S. president. Now he smiled at the Peace Prize ceremony. Behind closed doors, FIFA officials reportedly believed there was an unofficial agreement that U.S. authorities would not conduct immigration enforcement directly outside stadiums. But that is not a guarantee. That is not in writing. That is a whisper. And the fans from Iran, from Haiti, from Ivory Coast, from Somalia, they got no whisper. They got a ban. One top FIFA source described Infantino's whole strategy simply, Trump responds to praise and gifts. So give him praise and gifts. Keep him happy, keep the tournament running. But here's what that strategy costs. It costs the soul of the sport. Football, real football, doesn't belong to presidents or billionaires. It belongs to the fans, the ones who paint their faces, who travel for days, who spend money they don't have just to stand in a stadium and scream for 90 minutes. And millions of those fans were shut out, not because they did anything wrong, but because of where they were born. Here's what makes this story so hard to ignore. This is not the first time FIFA has done this. In Russia, in Qatar, FIFA has always found a way to align itself with whoever holds the power and whoever holds the money. The pattern is always the same. FIFA promises the world. FIFA awards the tournament. The host uses the tournament for their own image, and anyone who speaks up is quietly silenced. And this time, for the first time, it's happening in America. The country that was supposed to be different. The country that hosted the most open, most diverse, most inclusive World Cup back in 1994. The country that helped make football global. Now, in 2026, that same country is hosting a World Cup where a Somali referee gets turned away, where Moroccan fans with tickets in their hands get told, no. A sport built on the idea that football is for everyone is not right now for everyone. And the two men most responsible for that? They're both smiling for the cameras. One of them calls himself the king of soccer. The other one gave him a peace prize. The 2026 World Cup will still happen. The goals will still be scored. The heroes will still emerge. The world will still watch. But somewhere, in an airport in Dakar, or in a living room in Tehran, or at a border in Somalia, there is a fan who should have been there, who bought a ticket, who had a dream, and who was told, not you, not here, not this time. Football is supposed to unite the world. This time, someone drew a line through it.